pull this off. I don't want to have the background on. Hey y'all, it's me, Spiceda. Good morning. It is a wonderful day of business combos and coffee, and today we are talking about continuing the conversation on celebrity bad tax advice and why the right accountant is a wealthy habit to have and a wealthy have it. Okay, this is Wealthy Habits. I'm Spiceda Jackson, and I am the accountant that you love. Let me cut this on over here, and I'm just welcoming the topic here, y'all. This is what we're talking about today: wealthy habits. You can see the news clip on the side. Let me switch this up for y'all because I did something I wasn't supposed to do. There we go. Right. So today we're talking about how an accountant is a wealthy habit to have. And we're going to talk about a few things, guys. So I'm going to put this here on the screen so y'all can see. I'm going to give y'all some time to grab your coffee because this is an important series. This is a really important series. Okay. And I want to have it, keep it here. I'm just going to make myself bigger here. All right. So this is why an accountant is a wealthy habit to have. All right. We talked about Wesley, right? And Wesley had some problems, and we'll get into that in a minute. But let me tell y'all this story. There was this man, we walked around, and there were some bricklayers, and they were all out in the hot sun building, right? Laying brick by brick. And as he passed by these bricklayers, I mean, want to make sure, as he passed by these bricklayers, they actually were complaining and huffing and puffing. They didn't want to do it. And then he saw this one man who was laying bricks, and he was smiling, and he looked like he was happily laying his bricks. And so he noticed that it was obviously something different about this particular bricklayer. And so he walks over to him and he asked him, he said, "Sir, you're out in this hot sun, laying bricks, the same heat as the rest of these people, but you don't seem to be miserable. These people are miserable, right? Why aren't you miserable?" And he said, "Well, because I'm not laying bricks, I'm building a cathedral." Okay. And so I'm kicking off business combos and coffee with this. What are you building? And are you even aware of what you're building? Are you begrudgingly in business when things go bad? You walk around like a sourpuss and upset when things don't turn out right or the painful parts of scaling, because scaling your business is very painful. When you're experiencing the painful parts of your business, are you like, "Oh no, this is a mess"? You walk around mad, angry because it's painful? Or are you upset because every time it's time to do your taxes, you're like, "Oh my God, I hate doing taxes, and I'm doing my taxes begrudgingly." But guess what? Unless you get these rules that I'm about to lay down for you, which says that you can not pay taxes. Let me say that. There are legal ways to not pay taxes. But the way that Wesley Snipes did it is not the legal way. So I'm going to tell you guys, you stick with me to the end. I'll teach you some what the legal ways of not paying taxes, no taxes, there are laws to this thing, and one and evading, which is what is tax evasion? Tax evasion and evading taxes is simply not paying them by not filing your tax returns. So basically, let's talk about this right after this break. I'm gonna pull up my clip. We're gonna run the clip right now, and we're gonna come back and talk about it because it's kind of funny. All right after this, y'all. All right, we here. Let's watch this video because he was so
You
hilarious.
don't want to do this. Us that mess. We was out one night in Hollywood. He gonna tell me we didn't have to pay taxes, man. Goddamn taxes, man. I said, Wesley, what you talking about? I'm Blade. Blade don't pay no goddamn taxes. You pay taxes, huh? G Money, you ain't gotta pay no taxes, G Money. I ain't G Money, I'm Chris. What the hell is you talking about? This ain't New Jack City.
Look, he said he wanted to kick Wesley's butt, okay? He said, I wanted to kick Wesley's behind. That's what he said right after that, but we didn't get in the clip. But look, listen, don't be listening to your friends telling you that you don't have to pay taxes, number one. Number two, don't take other people's tax advice because you don't know what was applied. They possibly applied the exception to the rule that you don't qualify for. Okay. And one of those exceptions is tax deductions. One tax deduction that you guys have heard me talk about before is if you buy a vehicle and you were able to take it as a tax deduction. If your friend bought a vehicle and you did not, right? And you try to take the vehicle tax deduction, that's fraud. Okay? So, what I'm saying is don't take other people's advice because you got to live the life that somebody lives, actually live it with them. That means you're married to them in order to take their advice. So, in Wesley's situation, he actually was on this whole thing where he was like, I don't have to pay taxes because he didn't believe that taxes were legal because whomever he was talking to, whether it was an accountant or non-accountant, because sometimes accountants get bad reps out of here. And when I say reps, I'm saying reputations because all accountants are not created equally. Okay, let me say this again. All accountants are not created equally. And so obviously, if you're working with an accountant or you're talking to an accountant that number one doesn't understand business, if you're a business owner, you're probably in trouble. If you're working with somebody who simply does taxes and you're in business, you're probably in trouble, right? And if you feel like, hey, I do my taxes every year and I'm tired of overpaying and this crap hurts, right? You're probably with the wrong person. And lastly, if this is you, if you're around here saying, look, I'm tired of paying taxes, so I won't file my taxes, that's not good. That's called avoidance. And when you don't file your taxes and you owe taxes, that's called tax avoidance. And this will happen to you. Let's run the clip, the news clip, to show what will happen to you if you decide to take the tax avoidance route. Because when people
Big developments in the Wesley Snipes tax evasion case.
Today, the U.S. Marshal in Orlando ordered the actor to report to prison next week. This latest move comes 2 weeks after a similar order from a federal magistrate in Ocala.
West News' Bob Killing joins us live to sort all of this out. And Bob, what's the reason for the order today?
Well, the order a couple of weeks ago from the judge up in Ocala came with no deadline to report to prison, but today's order from U.S. Marshal Tom Hurlburt does. So that means the day of reckoning for Orlando-born actor Wesley Snipes is December 9th. By noon, he has been ordered to report to prison in Pennsylvania or risk additional criminal charges. In 2008, Snipes was found guilty in Ocala of failing to file income taxes for a 3-year period in which he earned just under $40 million. His sentence, 3 years in prison. But this isn't a done deal just yet. Snipes is appealing on 2 fronts. His legal team has indicated they may take the repeal of Snipes' conviction to the U.S. Supreme Court, And just today, Snipes' legal team filed with the U.S. 11th Circuit Court in Atlanta an appeal of the judge's November 19th order telling Snipes that it's time to start serving his sentence. So it should be an interesting week ahead, Martha.
Bob, thank you.
Be an interesting week ahead, right? It definitely was an interesting week. So look, I hear this all the time, right? I have clients, and I just talked to a client recently, and this is a common thing, okay? Clients tell me, I don't know what I'm working for. I now owe additional taxes. And see here that I'm saying additional taxes. All right, here's the situation. Single client is working two jobs. On job one, the client is making $95,000 a year. On job two is bringing in an additional $25,000 a year. Okay, so this client is bringing in 120,000 a year, right? With an additional $25,000. And so what happened is a common problem. When you're working two jobs, or if you're filing jointly with your spouse and there is two incomes there, commonly not enough taxes get taken out of your check, your paycheck. And so a common reason for tax surprises is not enough taxes are sent from your taxable income. In the case of our friend Wesley Snipes, no taxes were sent from his taxable income and no tax returns were filed. That's crazy. All right? So look, if you live in the good old United States of America, your HOA fee is to file your tax return. And I promised, and I'm going to get to it, to tell you ways to make your income tax free. Okay? And there are exceptions to this. But listen, I want to stay here to talk about the how the everyday person, not just the celebrities. Poor Wesley Snipes. He ended up being the poster child for the IRS for them to say, "Homie, don't play that." The IRS simply wanted to say, "Homie, don't play that," and they used Wesley Snipes as the poster child for that. Now, let me say this: people don't commonly go to jail for not filing their tax returns, because listen, if you don't file your tax return and you're getting a tax refund year after year after year after year for 7 years, guess what's going to happen? Nothing. But if you don't file your tax returns and for 7 years, and over the course of those 7 years, you made millions, billions, hundreds of thousands of dollars. Most people who make $100,000 a year, or let's say you're like the person in my example, you made $120,000 a year. You take that times 7 years, you made over $1 million. And that $1 million, the government technically wants 20% of that. So guess what? They're going to be going after you for their $200,000. Okay, but in reverse, if they owed you $200,000 because you overpaid in your taxes and you were due a refund, or you qualified for this exception that I'm about to give y'all, take out your pen and paper. Tax credits. Tax credits make taxes free. Tax credits come in two forms. Tax credit either reduce your taxes, or tax credit pay your taxes for you. Okay? So, if you don't qualify for the tax credit, then guess what you should do? Pay your taxes. All right, so listen, here's the thing, right? And I'm going to go back to this example because it's a common statement that I get. Why am I even working a second job if I'm going to owe money? Well, here's two ways to look at it. When you work that additional job, because in my example, the job one paid $95,000, job two paid $25,000, and the tax rate is 20% in this example. So let's ask yourself the question. If I go to work and I'm handed this stack, and these are my business cards, y'all, look, and I say, from this stack, you got to give these two cards. You see how thick this stack is? From this stack, you got to give these two cards as your HOA fee to the good old United States of America. Are you going to say, shucks, why am I working? I don't want nothing, so I'm not going to work my second job. Sounds crazy, right? And I'm not saying crazy to insult anybody, but what I'm saying is, if the $20,000 is worth it to you, then the $25,000 is too. What you got to do is, and this is the advice that I gave this client, is you got to understand what your tax liability is. You got to know what your taxable income is. Let's start with that. First of all, you got to know what your taxable income is. Second of all, you got to know how much taxes that you're supposed to pay on that. And you talk to your accountant about that. I'd love to be your accountant. Okay, so if you don't have an accountant to talk to, I come here every week with my podcast, Wealthy Habits. So we're gonna double screen this thing for y'all so you can see it. I come here every week with my podcast, Wealthy Habits. Here we are. An accountant is a wealthy habit. Okay, I come here every week with my podcast. You see it up here? Wealthy Habits. Share this with your friends, because I want you guys to be a have and not a have not. I don't want you to be walking around here saying, why am I making an extra $25,000? Because you're working a second job because you need the money, right? Or you're working towards something. You're not working that job just for the money. So let's go back to the bricklayer conversation. Are you working your job or whatever, however you're making money? Are you working that just to simply say you made money? Or are you making that money to go towards what's known as your unlimited life? A life where you're not limited by money, a life where you're not worried about, paying taxes, because you already know, that what your taxable income is. And if you don't want to pay taxes, then invest your money. Talk to an accountant on what can I do to legally reduce my taxes? What can I do to have my money be working for me versus having to go towards my HOA fee? And a great accountant like myself and my team at X Financial, CPA.com. You can work with us. Just go to xfinancialcpa.com. And if you go to the top of our website, you will see a button that says make an appointment. If you don't have an accountant, go in and make an appointment. And in the comment section, put in there, hey, I want a wealthy habits. I want wealthy habits. Put in the comment section, I want wealthy habits. And I will reduce the cost of your initial consultation. Okay? My team is going to send you an invoice for us to book a session, and I will reduce the cost of your initial consultation, because I want everyone to be a have and not a have not, which is why we have this whole podcast and why I'm talking about this. I'm spending a whole series on this so that you guys can know that celebrities make mistakes, and they're people too, but we can also not only look up to celebrities, we can also learn from them. Okay, Wesley Snipes, he had a misstep. Last week we talked about Steve Harvey's misstep. Oh, poor Wesley. Don't put that up. God, hello, poor Wesley. We don't want to make Wesley a criminal, poor Wesley. But we don't, but you know, Wesley is a celebrity. We see him in Blaze, and we're all human. And we make mistakes. And sometimes we think we're getting great advice, and we're not. I akin tax advice to the same thing that people do when they take other people's medicine. Would you ever take someone else's high blood pressure medicine or any medicine that was prescribed to someone else, even though you may think you have similar symptoms? It's never a good idea to take someone else's medicine. In the same regard, it's never a good idea to take someone else's tax advice because they may have qualified for these exceptions. All right, y'all ready? Exception number one, they have adjustments that you don't have. Exception number two, they qualify for tax credits that you didn't qualify for. Exception number three, they have tax deductions and qualified to take them, and you did not. Okay, those are the quick exceptions to the rules. You need to talk to me as your accountant to help you properly apply that, or have conversations with your accountant and not just think that you're going to talk to your accountant at tax time and that's going to be the end all be all. You are simply taxed every day. Life is taxed. Okay? Life is taxed. Let me say that again. Life is taxed. What you got to do is know the rules, play the game, and you will win. Know the rules, play the game, and win just like wealthy people do. And wealth is not just money. Wealth is having access to your time, your family, resources. Hey, great advice. Okay, get the wealthy habit that I'm talking about today. Wealthy habit number one, if you want to protect your money, is an accountant. So this is what I got for y'all here. Go to my website. I'm going to give that one more time. Go to our website, xfinancialcpa.com. Make an appointment. In the link, say wealthy habits. Now, when you get there, it's going to say subscribe to our podcast. My podcast. My podcast is called Wealthy Habits. That's what you see above. If you subscribe, I'm going to be during my next Pocket More Profit Bootcamp, which is coming up on October 18th. Mark it. And you can actually go right now to pocketmoreprofitbootcamp.com and register. Be a part of the boot camp. And there are two things that we're doing in this boot camp because we're going into the fourth quarter. And you know, I'm always talking about my year-end spend. But before I even talk about that with you guys, we've got to get better because number one, like my headline says, you know, Biden has increased, you know, the IRS auditors. So it's time to audit proof your wealth, audit proof your tax return. So let me say what I'm saying. I said audit proof your tax return, but what you need to do is tax proof your wealth. And so my next Pocket More Profit Bootcamp is going to help you be like Trump and go ahead and trump your taxes legally. Legally. Learn what the exceptions are. Know what they look like. You cannot reduce your taxes. You cannot pay less than taxes. You cannot reduce your tax burden. You cannot pay no taxes if you don't know about taxes. You cannot avoid filing your taxes. You cannot say, I'm just not going to pay. There are rules to this. Know the rules, play the game, and win. And that's what I want you guys to do. I am Spiceda Jackson, the accountant that you love. I want y'all to tell y'all friends, I found an accountant that I love. Her name is Spiceda Jackson. And if they go to wealthyhabits.com, it'll take you right to my blog. If you go to accountantthisway.com, it'll take you right to my blog and have them sign up for the podcast. Because once you get all this wealth of information, it's best to hire an accountant who knows how to apply it. And my firm, xfinancialcpa.com, that's our logo right here. X Financial, we can help you do that because, like my motto says behind, we make complex simple. So this is what I'm going to end with, y'all, and I'm going to make a few church announcements here. And we can leave the headline over here because number 3 says ERC tax credits are in. And I want to say, do you own a business that processed payroll tax returns in 2020 or 2021? If you said yes, I own a business and I process payroll. This is what you need to do. Go to my website and make an appointment, which will be a quick 15-minute appointment, because you may qualify for the ERC tax credit, Employee Retention Credit. That credit is for businesses that actually filed employment tax returns. If you don't know if that is you, then let us know. I'm interested in ERC tax credits. Go to xfinancialcpa.com, make an appointment, and we will help you. Okay? All right. So this is what we talked about today. Like, if you're catching this at the end or whatever, Wesley did not understand where he was building his over $40 million in this country. Like Wesley I think he made over 40 million over that time frame, and he paid no taxes, and he paid no taxes. He didn't report no taxes. He didn't file any tax returns. He made no estimated taxes. Oh, it's $23 million tax case. It's a $23 million tax case. That means that Wesley made over $100 million and thought that he didn't have to pay no taxes. And even if you don't have to pay no taxes, you have to file a tax return to show the IRS that I owe no taxes, because I qualify for the exceptions. And the exceptions, again, is adjustments, tax credits, and tax adjustments, tax credits, and tax deductions. How can I forget tax deductions? Anyway, you got to show that you did that. All right. So let me see. Tax proof your wealth and audit proof your taxes. Like I said, join me for my next Pocket More Profit boot camp. I think I have that somewhere. I could put that here. Oh, yep, there you go. You can go to pocketmoreprofitbootcamp.com to join me for my next Pocket More Profit boot camp. And if you want to share and not profit alone, go ahead and share Wealthy Habits with your friends, your business bestie, whoever it is. Tell them that you met an accountant that you love. Spiceda Jackson, that's my name. Spiceda, that's Spice with a D-A. All right? I am the accountant you love. I am Chief Entrepreneur Advisory Accountant at xfinancialcpa.com, where we offer Tax Plus 365 as a product. We help small business owners stay in tax compliance, know their numbers so that they can grow to their unlimited life. Because I believe that you should always be able to find the problem, know the solution, and live an unlimited life. That's what I got for y'all today. I'm Spiceda Jackson, the accountant that you love. If you want to work with me or know more about me, like I said, go to our website. It's right here on the screen. All right. And you can always subscribe to my channels across social media. That's Spiceda Jackson on Instagram, on YouTube. Follow me, know when I go live. And you can always join our podcast, Wealthy Habits. Join my podcast, Wealthy Habits, where I help people who are stuck in the middle, like me, like myself, like you. I help you guys. I help us guys be a have and not a have not. All right. I love y'all. Until next time, grow to your unlimited life. Bye, y'all.
Your taxes done.
Yes.
Can you give us the story?
Listen, I would have owed more if I did not come here. And now I feel relieved. I feel accomplished. I got a lot of things done and paid off thanks to you, 365. Okay.
So listen, who had you done your taxes before you got here, and were our results different?
Yes, because
And that's why an accountant is a wealthy habit. Bye, y'all.